Good morning, girls. This little video cast is a little cast looking at the entry event for your independent research project, just a way of getting you started and thinking about potentially what you might want to pursue as an interesting research project for the next 8 weeks. If you've clicked on, or if you have clicked on the link in Edmodo, it will take you to the home page here of the independent research project, and to access the entry event, you can do that by scrolling over this tab, the project page, and you can access the entry event by clicking on that link, and it will take you to the page that will contain some resources to help crystallise some of your thinking about your topic. So the purpose of the entry event is to provide you just with some resources to start your thinking about what you might like to look at and you might like to investigate for the next 8 weeks. As always, there are some questions here for your blog as well, which you should have already set up as part of the previous little video cast that you saw, reminding you that you need to post your link back to your teacher in Edmodo, which is very, very important. These questions are also designed to help you think about some of the things that you are reading and watching and listening to, and that's a very important step that you need to take. So the idea, ladies, is to look at each of these resources. You don't have to read deeply at this particular point, but certainly widely, just to help you start to identify some common themes and to start your thinking around what possible questions are out there for you to study. So there are a number of links to newspaper and TV websites, a number of infographics. We'll be doing some infographics later, so it's a good idea to take note of those now. And then just some resources there generally about some social issues. There are 2 issues that I've not resourced at this point, which are about immigration and asylum and services for those people, and also around disability and disability insurance schemes, etc., which are quite big federal topics at the moment. So there might be 2 other things that you might be interested in. Of course, you can pursue any area of study from the syllabus that you have a developing interest in, so long as it clearly links back to the syllabus. And one of the suggestions I would make is that if you go back to the home page, there is a nice little Wordle graphic there that highlights the major terms that come up in our particular syllabus. So certainly using one of those words or some of those words, or a combination of those words in your question, is going to help you immensely to come up with a nice question for your project. You can also access the entry event by clicking on step 1 in the table there on the home page, and that will take you to exactly the same place. So the first thing that or the first goal, ladies, is for you to start your reading, start your thinking about what you may or may not be interested in, and to start to write some questions. And you won't have a final question or a refined final question until you've done this wide reading, and that wide reading should only take place after you've picked a theme. Otherwise, you're going to just be reading for the sake of reading, and it'll be quite aimless. So the idea in this section is that once you've got an idea of maybe what you'd like to do, is that your reading here into the secondary literature, the secondary research, is about constructing your literature review. So before you progress to this particular stage, make sure that you have in your mind a theme or an emerging question, and probably emerging questions to read against. And this further reading not only will mean that you can write up your literature review almost straight away, but it also help clarify and crystallise that question, which you will need to present back to your teachers formally in that Ignite presentation. Some resources there to help you write your driving question. There are a couple of videos there. And then finally, once you think that you're fairly close to having a question, then your job will be to focus on your research proposal. And again, there are questions there for your blog entry, which you should be making obviously each week. And as I said to you before, some of these questions will help you drive out your own question as a result. Question 3, I'll just draw some attention to here because we will use Critical Friends as a resource to help you work out and clarify your questions even further. In terms of the research proposal, once you've got to that 4th step there, clicking that link will take you to the research proposal page in the project development, and in this page you'll go through a series of activities or steps in order to further clarify your proposal, the topic, what you've been doing, your choice of an appropriate methodology, and some guiding questions and some ideas to help you just make sure that you've picked the right type of question suitable for CAFS, and a timeline, and then finally the Ignite presentation for your research proposal. Now this should take you a number of lessons between now and Christmas to complete. So I would suggest, ladies, that in order to begin, that I would start thinking about the research proposal and what I'm interested in, start my reading, and then run through those different steps in the process until you are quite clear that you have a research proposal that you can present to us in 5 minutes, hopefully by Christmas. If you have any questions, girls, you're always welcome to post all your questions into Edmodo, and one of your teachers will endeavour to get back to you as quickly as possible. Ladies, it would be prudent to post your questions generally to the CAFS group rather than to individual teachers, because that way all students can see those questions. Many of whom probably want to ask the same question. It would just help us as well, because we can all give you some advice about the best way to proceed in your project. So if you've got those questions, ladies, please post them into Edmodo and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. I hope this has been a useful little video class, and good luck, ladies, with your proposal.